What's up guys, Paul here with GearTest TV, and today we're going to be taking a look at the GoPro Hero 5. So thanks to the guys over at Lens Pro To Go, I was able to get the GoPro Hero 5 in for a couple of days to take on my last backpacking trip. So before I really get into the review of this camera, I just want to say if you're looking to rent a GoPro or really any camera system for that matter, head over to lensprotogo.com. The guys there are awesome. They're fully staffed by photographers and filmmakers. All their gear comes in a nice Pelican case. So head over to their website and be sure to enter coupon code GearTestTV10 to get 10% off your order. So this is the GoPro Hero 5 Black Edition. This is GoPro's most recent camera, and one difference that you'll notice between this GoPro and some of the others that we've seen before is that there's no plastic housing, and that's because the camera just by itself is waterproof up to 30 feet, which made it perfect for something like a backpacking trip where I was just going to be, possibly in rain or have some water crossings. I'm not diving with it, so I don't really need a full waterproof housing. So it comes with this little plastic housing here that you can pop the camera into, and that's basically just to hold the camera. It keeps the battery door and things like that closed. So with it in the case, you still have access to the record button on the top there, the mode button on the side, and if you take this little door off before you put it in the case, that little opening on the side there will give you access to the HDMI and charging port. So here's the GoPro Hero 5, and I can hit this mode button on the side here to turn it on. It's going to come up in video mode because I have video mode selected as my default mode. And the great thing about this is that it's all touchscreen. So if I want to change the resolution here, I can tap on that. If I want to change it up here to 4K, I can change my frames per second, and it will also show you, you can see some of these are grayed out and some of them are this white color. That's going to show you all of the frames per second options that are available in that resolution. So obviously I only have 24 and 30 frames per second at 4K, but if I want to drop down to say 1080, I've got all the way up to 120 frames per second as a recording option. And then I can also change my field of view here. So I currently have it on wide. I can scroll all the way down to narrow. I can drag down from the top to get my connections. I can lock the screen to keep me from bumping it, and then I'll just drag down again and tap to unlock. I can turn on and off voice control. I'll show you a little bit more about that later. I can connect to Android or iPhone, and I'll show you more about that later as well. And then I can go into preferences here, and this is basically where I can change all of my preferences, such as the screen brightness, which actually really helps if you're doing anything outside. You can brighten the screen up quite a bit, and as you can see, that's almost too bright for my camera exposure. Now, one thing that I will say about this touchscreen is that it's not quite as sensitive as like say a standard smartphone touchscreen. So there are times that I've had to press a button once or twice, maybe even 3 times in order for the button to actually take. But that's not necessarily a bad thing, because that could also help you from accidentally pressing a button if you don't have the screen locked. So if I just drag in from the right side here, you can see this is my Pro Tune controls, which I have turned on, which basically just gives you a lot more manual controls over the camera, such as your color, white balance, ISO, shutter, things like that. I can swipe again to see this is the video stabilization, where you would typically turn on the video stabilization, but it's currently disabled because I'm over 60 frames per second or in 4K. Now, I will say I was actually very impressed with the video stabilization built into this camera. Now, it's not going to look like it's on a gimbal, or, you know, it's not going to smooth out anything if you're running and really shaking, but as far as slight vibrations and things like that, it really did a pretty good job at stabilizing the video, and it wasn't quite as wavy and, I don't know, just unnatural looking like some of the stabilization that's built into smartphones nowadays. Now, there's also low light mode, audio controls. I can also press over here where you see this little camera icon to change the modes instead of hitting the mode button. Here there's video plus photo, or looping. There's just photos, so photo, night mode, burst. On time lapse there is time lapse video, time lapse photo, and night lapse photo. So one of the cool new features on this GoPro is the ability to do voice commands. So in order to enable that, I'll just drag back down from the top here. I'll press this little icon and it shows that my voice control feature is now on. So if I want to, I can just say, GoPro, start recording. And you can see there that it is now recording. I can say, GoPro, stop recording. If I want to, say I'm in video mode right now, I can say, GoPro, take a photo. And it just took a picture. And if I drag back to the side here, you can see the photo that it just took. So now let's take a look at the other connection options for this GoPro. If I slide this menu down and press connect, I can connect to the app here. What I can do now is I will take my iPhone and I'm going to turn Wi-Fi on, and this GP number that you see here, that is the GoPro. My phone's going to automatically connect to it. And now I will go back to the Capture app. It's going to connect. I'm going to say connect camera. That's the number that's been assigned to this GoPro. It's going to start the preview. So from the GoPro app here, I can start recording. I can highlight that video if I want to. I can stop recording. So I'm going to go here to my settings, and here I can change my resolution if I want to. I can change my frame rate, field of view, Pro Tune. So down here I can go back and see everything that I have recorded with the GoPro. I can open it up. I have the option to play the clip. I can download it, share it on social media. There are a lot of different options. I'll go back here. I can delete a clip if I want to. So you essentially have all of the same controls on the iPhone that you would have from the GoPro itself. In fact, I can turn off the GoPro. Now the audio from this GoPro is both in a way better and worse than the previous GoPros. And what I mean by that is that the previous GoPros had to have that clear plastic housing in order to be waterproof. Well, the downside to that was that once they were inside that plastic housing, the audio was terrible. It sounded like you were listening to something through a wall. It was bad. Now, the plus side to that was that when the camera was not in the waterproof housing, so if you didn't need it to be waterproof, the audio was actually not too bad considering it was coming from a camera. So because the GoPro Hero 5 is waterproof without being inside a waterproof housing, that means that the audio is actually better from this GoPro than, say, the GoPro Hero 4 when the GoPro was in the waterproof housing. Now the difference there is that the GoPro Hero 4 could be taken out of the waterproof housing. This one, you're just going to get the same audio either way. So I'll do a quick comparison here just to kind of show you the audio quality that you can expect from this GoPro. So right now you're hearing the audio from the GoPro Hero 5 with the black plastic housing around it. And now you're hearing the audio from the GoPro Hero 5 without the plastic housing around it. Another cool feature about this camera is the auto rotate, which basically just means that if I take the camera and flip it upside down, you can see that the menu and camera controls and the image itself have all auto-rotated so that everything is now right side up. So that's all I have to say about the GoPro Hero 5. I would definitely recommend taking one with you on your next backpacking or kayaking trip or family vacation, or I mean really anywhere for that matter. You could fit it in your pocket, so take it to the grocery store. Get 4K video of tomatoes and cucumbers and ice cream sandwiches. Once again, be sure to check out our friends over at lensprotogo.com and enter coupon code GearTestTV10 at checkout to get 10% off of your order. If you do record anything with the GoPro, be sure to send me the link because I would love to check out your videos. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I will see you next week.